If you need money, what would you do to survive? Would you step into the shoes of someone who risks their life every single day just to make a living? Most people will never do what I did this week, but somebody has to do these jobs. And for 7 days, that somebody was me. I tried the most dangerous jobs in the world, one each day. No stuntman, no safety crew. Just me, raw fear, and the people who do this for real. And it nearly broke me. Day 1, Alaskan crab fisher. You think your job is hard? Try fishing for crabs in the deadliest sea on Earth. The Bering Sea doesn't forgive mistakes. It's freezing, violent, and unpredictable. As soon as I stepped on the ship, the cold slapped me in the face. My fingers went numb within minutes. The wind howled like it wanted us off the water. I joined a crew that's used to 20-hour shifts. We threw massive steel cages, pots into the water and hauled them back in, full of crab. Each pot weighed hundreds of pounds. The boat pitched violently with every wave. One guy slipped and hit the deck hard. He smiled, stood up, and kept working. Me? I was barely holding on. The sea doesn't care who you are, and by the end of the day, neither do your muscles. Day 2, skyscraper window cleaner. Somebody has to clean the windows of 60-story skyscrapers, and today that somebody was me. I strapped into a harness, stepped onto a narrow suspended platform, and watched the world shrink below me. As we lifted into the sky, my legs shook. Every gust of wind made the platform sway like a rope swing. The man beside me had been doing this for 17 years. I asked him if it still scares him. He looked out at the city and said, "Fear reminds you to double-check the harness." Looking down made my stomach drop. I couldn't stop thinking, one wrong move, and it's over. Still, we cleaned. Window after window, story after story. It was the most peaceful and terrifying view I've ever had. Day 3, Volcano tour guide. How do you guide people through a volcano field? Very carefully. I flew to Iceland and joined a volcano tour guide who literally walks over hot ground for a living. The earth cracked beneath our feet, steam hissing from the openings. Some areas were so hot they could melt rubber soles. "Don't step there," he said casually, pointing at a patch of darker rock. "Why not?" I asked. He shrugged. "You might fall through." We were walking on a cooled lava field from an eruption less than a year ago. I could feel heat rising through my boots. At one point, I stepped too close to a steam vent and had to jump back as it roared like a jet engine. People take selfies here. But this guide? He risks his life so tourists can get the perfect shot. Insane. Day 4. Storm chaser. You run from storms. Storm chasers drive into them. I joined a team in Tornado Alley. The radar was lit up, rotation forming. We got in the car and raced toward a dark cloud forming like a giant spinning fist. Rain slammed against the windshield like bullets. Thunder cracked so loud it felt like it exploded in my chest. Lightning hit a tree less than 30 feet from the car. At one point, debris flew across the road. The lead chaser calmly said, "We're getting close now." We stopped under an overpass and watched the sky twist above us. It was the most alive and the most helpless I've ever felt. They do this weekly, not for fun, but to save lives by tracking what others fear. Day 5. Extreme high voltage lineman. On day 5, I climbed a 200-foot transmission tower while the lines were still live. Electricity was humming all around me. One wrong touch and I would have been fried instantly. I was clipped in, wearing a special suit, and surrounded by pure tension, both electrical and emotional. I followed a veteran lineman who's done this for decades. "Don't think about the voltage," he said. "Just respect it." He reached out and touched a live line with a metal rod. The spark sounded like a gunshot. My instinct screamed, "Get down!" But he was calm, confident. They call this barehanding, working on active lines that carry hundreds of thousands of volts. It's science, it's skill, and it's suicide, if you don't know what you're doing. Day 6. Underground miner. Ever been 800 meters underground? I have, and I hated every second of it. Miners work in narrow tunnels, surrounded by rock, darkness, and machines that could crush you in an instant. The air was thick, dusty, and hot. I was sweating within minutes. I met a miner who'd been doing this for 12 years. He said, "You get used to the dark. You never get used to the silence. Down there, if something collapses, there's no running. No calling for help. Just silence." We crawled through tight shafts barely wider than my shoulders. At one point, the lights flickered. I froze. He didn't. He just kept drilling. I've never respected quiet men more in my life. Day 7, urban rooftopper, illegal climb. This one wasn't legal, and that's exactly why I did it. Urban rooftopping, the art of illegally climbing skyscrapers without safety gear, is dangerous, reckless, and completely insane. But it's also real. People do it for followers, for adrenaline, for ego. I met a climber who agreed to take me with him. We scaled the outside of a 40-story building. No ropes, no permission, just pure focus. My palms were sweating halfway up. One slip, and I'd be a headline. When we reached the top, the view was breathtaking. But the rush? The fear? That was something else. I asked him, "Why do you do this?" He said, "Because falling is better than fading." I don't agree, but I understand. 7 days, 7 jobs, 7 brushes with death. Somebody has to do these jobs. And for 1 week, that somebody was me. If this gave you chills, inspired you, or scared you just a little, then imagine doing it every day of your life. Subscribe if you respect the workers you never see, and ask yourself, would you survive even one of these days?